Hello Seekers and welcome back to my channel. I'm aliceestreastrange and today we are revisiting the Non-Ritchy Witch series to talk about 6 practices to try as a beginner witch that won't cost you anything. I think a lot of us when we're first starting out our practice, we tend to buy a lot of stuff that we don't end up using, and I know I'm very guilty of this, so let me give you some ideas of where to start without having to spend a bunch of money on stuff you're not going to use. But first, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Alice. I assist people in connecting to their spirit team, ancestral wisdom, and mastering their witchcraft practice through empowered witchcraft mentorship and shadow healing. I will be opening the Modern Mystic Academy in January, an experience where you can learn the foundational knowledge of witchcraft, deep dive into a topic over the course of a month, and get a box of handmade items and supplies to build your own witchcraft tools. The first month will be all about crafting sacred smoke blends, and you'll get access to a private community for Academy members. Official signups will be available in just a few days, but if you'd like to join the waitlist and have the information sent directly to your email, the link for that is below. You can also find links to join my free community or schedule a session with me down there too. Now, let's get into powerful practices for beginner witches on a budget. The first powerful practice for beginner witches is sigil making. And in case you don't know what a sigil is, it's a magical symbol that you create with an intention based on the letters that make up your intention. Sigils can be used for any intention, and all you need is paper and something to write with. And there are a bunch of different ways to make sigils. I personally like to use 3 different methods depending on what I'm going for and how it looks. And it can be as simple or as artistic as you like. Sigils are great to add into other spells, or they can be a spell on their own. You can burn them, you can carve them into candles, draw them on your body. You can also really easily hide a sigil, like behind hanging pictures on your wall or the backs of mirrors, or even embroidering them on your clothes. I really like to draw them onto things with oils so that no one can see them, and it's very secret, very cool. I do plan on making a video on how to make sigils soon, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and catch it when it comes out. The second practice to do as a beginner witch is charging things. You've probably heard of people charging crystals under the moon or making moon water, but you can charge literally anything. New tarot decks do really well after a good charge, or you can do it to cleanse an old one you already have. You can charge wands, pendulums, candles, or any other tool. Supplies for your practice like incense, herbs, and oils, those are all good things to charge. Charging any kind of jewelry is also a good idea. And to add intention to that charge, you can simply put a sigil under whatever you're charging, or you can even charge a sigil that way. But you don't have to charge under the full moon alone. You can charge under any phase of the moon, okay? They all have their own energies that come with them. Like a waxing moon is good for growing things, for expanding, new beginnings, and a waning moon is really good for letting go, removing things, or endings. But you don't even have to use the moon. You can charge things under the sun. You can put things under or next to a candle to charge them. I personally really love charging things, especially for protection in heavy storms. And I encourage you to get creative. As I always say, think about it this way: anything that generates energy can be used to charge something. I think this is a great practice for new witches because it's simple and it adds a lot of power. And I charge things in my practice all the time, even now. Just play around with the different types of energies and see what you vibe with best. I'm personally definitely a new moon and storm kind of girl, but if you've tried this, I'd love to hear what your favorite is. And if you haven't, I'd love to hear what you'd like to try first. Now, the third practice is getting familiar with your local nature. Whether you live in a city or a more remote area, you can connect with the land you live on. Parks, forests, and rivers are all really great, but even a single plant or just the dirt is something that you can use to connect with the land. There is no better ally than what is right outside your door. A lot of people talk about spirit guides or deities as spiritual or magical allies, but you can have nature spirit allies or plant allies. A river can be an ally. Even the local land itself can be an ally. The land you live on can be such a powerful spirit to connect to because you already have a tie to it rather than having to build a relationship from scratch. If you treat the land with respect, it already has a reason to want to help you. And I want to add in here that it's also a really great practice to get to know the local dead. Visiting cemeteries around your area and slowly building a connection to the people there and the cemetery itself is a really great way to start working with spirits outside of your lineage. They can actually make really great allies. But when visiting a cemetery, it's important to follow graveyard etiquette. There are a lot of things that includes, but first, just go and spend time there. Just walk around, look, with no intention of doing anything magical. You should always just visit to just let the spirits check you out and get a feel for you. And then, once they've gotten to get to know you a little bit, you give before you take. So leave an offering for the dead there and the cemetery itself. Maybe sit with a grave. Maybe just talk out loud to them without asking questions. And then, when you've built some trust and respect, you can go up from there. Now, the fourth practice for beginner witches is protection magic. Protection magic is a really great starting point because there is very little possibility for backfires. And protection is one kind of magic that I think is important to every witch. Once you start opening up and working with energy and magic, you're kind of like a lighthouse in the dark for any kind of passing spirit. And I really don't mean to scare anyone, okay? The danger is actually far lower than most people believe, but it is higher than if you weren't working with energy at all. Protection magic can be fairly simple, and I think it's really important before you start doing more advanced magic. So that's why I feel that it's the best type of spell to try first. Protection can also be done in many different ways, everything from spell jars and candle magic to crystals, jewelry, glamours, or herbs and oils. And now, the fifth and final practice for beginner witches is meditation. If you're someone who's tried meditating and you didn't like it, do not worry. Meditation can be super weird when you're first starting. I think the most common complaints I hear are when people are meditating for the first time and they're trying to just think of nothing, which is actually a misconception. It's not meant to be done that way, if it's even possible. There are many ways to practice meditation, but I personally think that guided meditations are the easiest place to start. And just start with 5 minutes if you struggle with it at first. It's a muscle that you really have to build. You also don't have to be able to visualize to meditate, another common misconception. I know a lot of people who don't visualize at all, but they do feel sensations, they feel energies or emotions, or they get knowings or downloads. Meditation is actually so super important because it helps you to learn what your inner voice sounds like and what is your higher self, so you can learn the difference before you start working with any other beings. You really even want to be able to tell the difference between you and your guides, because if not, it can be hard to tell what's anxiety and what is a warning. But especially when working with the dead, you really want to know when a thought is a thought or when someone else is talking. I know a lot of us struggle with meditation at one point or another, so I would love to hear your stories of your biggest meditation struggle down in the comments below. And that is everything I have for you today. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, take a moment to do that, and give the video a like if you found some inspiration from this video. If you join the Discord or my Patreon community as a free member, you can attend the first session of my new event, the Aligned Living Circle. And as I said in the beginning, you can also join the waitlist for my Modern Mystic Academy. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay curious, friends.